Hello guys and welcome, it is ThatSrb2DUDE here today bringing you a part 2 of how to optimize your motion controls in Splatoon and how to make your accuracy a little bit better. Now, guaranteed this isn't going to be like how to make your accuracy perfect, but it can make it somewhat better and make you feel more comfortable playing Splatoon. Now, it's a little bit late into the game, but I feel like this is still relevant because Splatoon 2 is just around the corner and this may apply to that. If it does, then I'll make another video for the Switch because there are different things and I'll do experiments with that. Either way, let's get into the video. So there are two things that I have found and experimented with that affect your motion controls and like make it feel a little bit weird and stuff like that. Now, one thing to note, every single time you start Splatoon is that your calibration will of course be cut out. Like if you calibrate your motion controls and then turn off Splatoon and then turn it back on again, it'll go back to the factory version of your motion controls. That's one thing I want to just get addressed, just so everybody knows that. Now, the two things that I want to explain though is I guess the first one is easy. I'll get it out the way just now. It's depending on how you reset your camera. Now, if you reset your camera in your hand, you will have a much tighter feeling because in the specific part in the air where you've reset your camera, your gamepad will be fixed to that. So the motion controls will be slightly different. So it'll feel a lot more tighter and it'll just be very, very tight, basically. So this is one thing I've noticed. Now, another thing is that if you reset your camera on a desk, and now I've made a video about 2 years ago, or maybe a year and a half ago, I'm not really too sure how long ago it was, but when you reset your camera on your desk, and then you move it back towards you, you get a much more looser feeling in motion controls if you move it left and right. So, these are two things that you kind of want to, like, figure out what's better for you. Some people, I guess a majority of people like to reset their camera in their hand and stuff like that. So, talking to you guys, you get this feeling. You get a much tighter feeling. So, one thing I've noticed is that I really don't like this rubber banding feeling. Like, I don't know if many of people notice, but if they turn left or right or something like that, they get this like little rubber banding feeling, and it's just like, oh, I just don't want to. I want to move here, but I don't want to my crosshair to move back like that. You can see it kind of move, like I move left, but then it goes back right, and that's called camera correction. That's like the game telling your crosshair to say, hey, let's go back and stuff like that. And I've been figuring how to get rid of this because some days it wouldn't be like a thing. I wouldn't even notice it. And then sometimes it's just like, okay, I notice it. I feel very uncomfortable playing and my motion controls just feel like it's just rubber banding back and forth. So one thing I have found out, and it's all to do with calibration with your motion controls, is that you can calibrate your motion controls to an infinite number of times. Now, this is a little bit confusing, but basically if I was to calibrate my motion controls one time, it counts as one. If I do it 2 times, it counts as 2. If I do it 3 times, it counts as 3. So basically, I'm going to do it with my hands. So I'm trying to show it in my hands. So this is calibration 1. So calibration 1 will still stay there when you've calibrated it one time. Now, if I wanted to calibrate it another time, what it basically does is that calibration 1 stays there, and then calibration 2 goes on top of it. So basically, I've calibrated it twice, and it basically can make your motion control or your crosshair a little bit more consistent. If I was to do it a third time, that will just go into that. And basically, it's very, very confusing, but basically it's like, okay, I've calibrated my motion controls 3 times, and that's the number of times that I am used to with calibrated motion controls. So I'm going to just show you the differences. So at the moment, like, I get this feeling of, hey, okay, right. So when I move left, I kind of have my crosshair bounce up and down, and it kind of rubber bands backwards a little bit. I don't want that to happen. So what I'm going to do is, of course, reset everything. Reset my camera. Press home. And I haven't calibrated my motion controls yet. I'm going to calibrate it the first time. Okay. So I've done that one time. As you see, motion controls just go upwards because it was from factory version to calibrated motion controls. I'm going to reset it because I want it to be straight. And then, at the moment, when I do this, it's a little bit different. In motion controls, it feels a little bit different. But I do notice is that it still kind of rubber bands ever so slightly. And I don't want that to happen. It kind of shakes a little bit, kind of moves upwards a bit, and I don't want that to happen. So, what I'm going to do is do it again. So, this is calibration number 2. Now, it should feel a little bit different because calibration 1 stays there, but calibration 2 just goes over it, and they kind of work together, as in the motion code and stuff like that. So, calibration 2 feels a little bit different. It doesn't rubber band as much, but I still feel it a little bit, and I want it, basically I want it to be perfect. It's like, I don't want it to move at all in how I move my gamepad. So, it moves back just a little bit. It's a little better than the first time I calibrated my motion controls, but it feels a little bit different. So, it feels better, but it doesn't feel, I guess, perfect for me. So what I'm going to do again is that I'm going to calibrate it one more time. Now, I've done this beforehand because I feel like when I calibrate my motion controls 3 times in a row, it's perfect for me. So, I'm going to calibrate it one more time. So this is calibration number 3. So basically, I've given my gamepad 3 points of calibration. If you think of it in the aspects of points, then it may be a little bit more, I guess, better for you. But you can do this an infinite amount of times. So some people may need to even do it 10 or 15 times if they want to get the perfect feeling of how they feel. So, calibration number 3. It's literally perfect for me. I mean, the crosshair didn't really do it justice there, but doing from here to here, I can perfectly aim. I feel very, very comfortable. Now, it's a little bit harder to tell you guys, hey, I feel more comfortable, but you guys need to really feel this out for yourself because I definitely think this is something to consider. Now, I can literally aim at anything. Like, my aim feels superb. I mean, I'm not really aiming it too well, but hey, okay, there we go. Now we're hitting things. So, there we go. Cool. Easy. So, basically, I don't get that feeling of, okay, my gamepad is rubber banding. I feel it's like it's perfectly going. It's staying still. It's staying still. It's playing. It's not moving as much. So, that was a mouthful. And it is a very, very complicated subject that I'm going over, but it's more of a thing that you guys need to feel out for yourselves, because me just saying this isn't going to help you, because you need to actually try this for yourself and see if you find a difference. Now, if you really, if you're like me and you really notice how motion controls move, then you might feel a difference with this, but personally, I do. Now, one thing I just want to mention if you are going to do this is that make sure that you start off with your factory settings just so, revert to default. This will set your motion controls to factory settings. Just so that, if you ever do make any mistakes, because one thing you want to do is you want to recalibrate your motion controls the exact same way each time, because if it goes on a little bit of an angle, then it's going to be inconsistent and there's going to be some sort of interference of how it's going to aim. So make sure that you do it the same way, and if you ever do feel like you have made a mistake or something like that, then you can always just do it again and just revert to default. So yes, this was a complete mouthful, and it's very, very confusing, as I've said before, but I honestly think it does make a difference with how you move motion controls. I mean, personally, with my gameplay, it's made a difference. I've actually personally had to change my resolution. I mean, as you know before, I was at 1080p. Wait, no. I was at 1080i at minus 1.5 sensitivity, but now I've done all my experiments all over again. Now I feel like I'm at 1080p. Minus 0.5 sensitivity is what I'm comfortable with, and I changed my resolution as well. So, yeah, this is pretty much all I had to say. These two things can make a difference, and this is, I guess, more of an extended part for the last part I made. So I hope this helped anybody that are looking for problems, and if they have had that rubber banding feeling like I have. And I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If it did, and if it helped you, please like, favorite, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Follow me on Twitter and Twitch, both in the description below. Do it for both of you for feeling generous. And again, this is only for Splatoon 1. I'm not too sure yet if Splatoon 2 will have the same thing. I do know that with Splatoon 2 that there is a calibration option, so I am going to go experiment with that when the game does come out. And when it does, if I find anything, I'll bring it to you guys straight away, because personally I really do notice how motion controls move and the differences it makes when you do certain things to like tweak your motion controls and stuff like that in your resolution. So if this helped, thank you for liking the video and telling people and sharing it and stuff like that. So if it did help, thumbs up. So that is all from me. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I shall see you guys in a future video.